For practice 1 part B, we're looking at a 2-step problem. So the first part of this problem is talking about how many hours the student has been practicing something. So he starts off with 3/4 of an hour of practicing, and then later does 7/10 of an hour practicing. The question first asks how much total time is this all together? So of course the altogether total, we're talking about an addition problem. When adding fractions, we want to make sure that we have a common denominator before we add. So to do that, we're going to do the butterfly method to solve for our equivalent fractions that would have common denominators. 3 times 10, or 10 times 3 is 30. 4 times 7 is 28. And 4 times 10 is 40. So if we were to rewrite this, we would have 30 40ths plus 28 40ths. Okay? Then we need to add these together. Now remember, when we add with the same denominator, our denominator does not change. So we're going to have 40 in the bottom, and then 30 plus 28 for our numerator, which is 58. And here we're left with an improper fraction, so we need to turn this into a mixed number by dividing. 58 divided by 40. 40 goes into 58 one time. 40 times 1 is 40. 58 minus 40 is 18. My numerator, or my remainder, becomes my numerator. And I'm dividing by 40, so 40 is my denominator. 1 and 18 40ths. And this can be reduced by a factor of 2, or means I can simplify this by dividing both parts of my fraction by 2. 1 and 9/20ths, and this cannot be reduced any farther. So altogether, he's practiced 1 and 9/20ths of an hour. The second part of the question is asking how much more would he have to practice to make his 2 hours of total practice that he wants to have each day. So what we need to ask ourselves is, what do we need to add to this number to get to our next whole number? Okay, our next whole number is going to look in a different way, like this. 2 is like saying 1 and 20/20ths, because 20 over 20 equals 1, and 1 and 1 is 2. So how do I get from 9/20ths to 20/20ths to make this whole number? Well, 9 plus what equals 20, or 20 minus 9 equals 11. So it would take 11 more 20ths to get 2. And that is how much longer he needs to practice. So this was the answer to part 2, or question 2. And this was the answer to question 1.